Good morning. Happy Carb Sober Sunday, all. I am so thrilled to continue sharing my journey and my experience with you all. And I can say, I just hope that all of the deep dives that I go into, because I'm sort of an analytical nerd, I love to dig down and try to reveal, uncover some truths that have been hidden. So if you are all along for the ride, I love having you here. Feel free to throw in some questions and I will try to get to them. Um, I was going to show you, well, I'll go grab something I have in a minute. I don't want to do it right at the moment. Good morning. Good morning. Go ahead and drop your questions in. Uh, let's see. Solar Dare says, anyone have any tips that can help along a carnivore journey? As I'm pretty sure I'm doing something wrong. 5.5 months in, 30 of those, I guess 30 days of that were lion diet, feeling very fatigued. My severe OCD intrusive. So, hang on a sec. Um, Part of the problem is, and it's difficult for me to answer a lot of these because I don't have the full background. And that's why I always encourage you to come join into my group. I get to know you. I meet live 3 to 4 times a week. So I'll just throw that out there. But, when we're 40, 50, 60 years of age, 70, 75, 80. I've even had an 85-year-old who figured this all out, came to this, which I'm amazed at that age. They're typically out of the social media and the internet world. And to figure this out is amazing. But in any case, big time needing to understand how many decades we have been eating an alternate way. And for most of us, it was a diet filled with a mixture, but let's just say an incorrect amount of processed foods. I grew up where, I guess in my grade school, high school years, this was all where there was packaged, prepared. I remember Hungry Man TV dinners and thinking, what, that was like the greatest thing. It was in a box. You slid out this, I think it was like a foil pressed thing that had different sections in it. And I couldn't wait to get to the peach cobbler. If you know, you know. It was like Salisbury steak, mashed potato, and a peach cobbler, maybe some green beans. But it ends up just keep evolving into more and more processed food. And that part of the grocery store got bigger and bigger. And I think out of convenience, time crunch, all of that kind of thing. So, yeah, it takes a lot of time. But if you're not feeling good and it's been this long, you might need to look into tweaking different things as far as trying to switch up the macros, trying to change up the types of meats and the fat. And this is a really tough one because there's no manual out there for us to open up. Don't think that you're doing something wrong, because if you're innately eating delicious food that are whole foods that you enjoy, that's correct, right? And then it comes down to, what are your health issues, and also where are you at as far as weight? Because bottom line is, adipose tissue is inflammatory and we need to get the fat off. So that's always a pretty big goal, aside from vanity issues of it. All right, so I see some people answering in. Could be histamine issues. That's very true. Could be leaky gut issues. There's a lot of things that have evolved to put you into the spot you're in, but yeah, it's a tough one because vitamin P for patients, as Dr. Barry says, can be a really tough one. Um, we're talking about you can buy cod livers online. Yeah, I have only been able to buy them online. So, and I've really only added them into my sardine bisque, my seafood bisque that I so love. And then I started getting brave and I would eat them right out of the tin and was surprised that I really actually kind of like them. They're not a strong flavor at all. They would mix really well in with scrambled eggs. It sounds bizarre, but the texture of them, actually, if I had to liken it to anything, scrambled eggs is the most similar in texture to cod livers. And like I said, a really mild flavor. So pretty versatile and to put into recipes because they mush and mash so easily. Yeah, good morning, all. So Angie says she's 20 years into her carnivore journey and patience is the key. So many people will notice improvements and different things happening 2 years, 3 years, 4 years in. And I always say, don't get frustrated because there can't possibly be something wrong with turning to a natural ancestral diet. Okay, we've got people from Missouri, Chicago. Hi, Dieter. We've got Laura down in Tennessee. And thank you, Sandy. I do try to fix my hair a little bit before I come on live. So there's that because the bedhead is bad in the morning. If you watch me on Instagram, you will know exactly what my bedhead looks like because I often will give a good morning video as I go out and show you my sunrise into my eyes morning routine. Let's see, Lou, good morning. Well, Lou, it's afternoon in the UK for you, but still morning here. 2009's that you've been on the ZC, zero carb train, keeping it simple, fresh meat, high fat is her lifestyle. And yeah, I know it's hard to, you know what? I think the hardest part is when we're in this health biohacking, animal-based space. And we see we follow lots of different accounts and we see these transformation Tuesday before and afters, and we see some real shock appeal, clickable kind of things about weight loss and tremendous changes. That is really a very small percentage. And you're not seeing the 97% others who it's just a very slow, gradual, evolving journey. And don't get discouraged. Just think about consistency because the first thing what happens typically when you get discouraged is you let that little ditch demon in there just say, well, just one bite. This isn't working anyway, or whatever the thought process is. So just be patient and be consistent. Barry says, completing second day of 5-day dry fast. Wow, good for you. Is lifting weights on day 4 okay? And what have been my realizations after dry fasting? All right. For me, I continue to do my normal weightlifting routine. I only lift 2 days a week. So on my 5-day, it really only fell in one of the days. I've done another 4-day one. And I put my weightlifting thing, I think, in the first 2 days and then didn't lift. So I'm not a gym rat. I don't go every day. So I can't answer your question on that, how you will do, other than doesn't hurt to go and try. And if you feel a little lackluster, so be it. There's other schools of thought from Dr. August Dunning who talks about taking it easy. He's like, consider this a little mini strange vacation where you're just going to chill out, relax, read, jump in a hammock kind of thing. For me, I just kind of kept going, doing my normal routine up until I'll say like the fourth and fifth day got a little bit rough as far as I think mainly it was that, yeah, the thirst kicks in. Thirst kicked in for me day 4, and that was the tough one, and I didn't feel like going out on a really fast-paced walk. I still walked every day. The interval power walking that I do now, I don't know, the last day or 2 might be tough, but, it just go by how you feel. My realizations after dry fasting, you know, I look at it as, going deep into health benefits of it. That's really what I look at. And microscopically, we can't really see that. We can't see what's happening. We're not going to come out of it and feel different, anti-parasitic, autophagy, all of these things are, we could call them like woo-woo thought processes up there that we're hoping happening. There's stem cell regeneration, all of this stuff when you dig in. So, you know what? Power of positive thought. I feel that it's beneficial, and that's where I'm going with it. So, I'm definitely not into frequently doing it. Maybe it might be a twice a year thing that I do. That's really where I'm going with it for now. Is it good to stress your body? Yes and no. So yes, I think periodically it's good to put a stressor on, but um, I'm not thinking that it's ideal to do it frequently. Let's see. Juliet says, do you take supplements? I know we don't need any supplements, but I'm always curious. I biohack, so I'm always interested what others take, if anything. Thank you. All right. Yeah. So I have gone through a period of time here with this whole digging into this, that things come up and I go, that's pretty compelling. I think I need magnesium, or this is really interesting. I'm not sure why I wouldn't take some vitamin C, because there's lipospheric form, the liposomal lipospheric form of it that's very bioavailable. And for sure, we don't get a lot on a very highly animal-based eating. And there's so much research. There are entire books written about vitamin C and things about immunity and cancer and all of that. So I do play around with these things from time to time. I do have a big order from Amazon on the one particular type of vitamin C that I feel is the most bioavailable, that lipospheric one. I will put a link for sure when I get off here to the one that I have, ranging anywhere from, some say 6,000 milligrams a day every day should be your baseline. I'm like, that seems kind of crazy. And remembering that being animal-based and fat adapted, our requirements, not being heavy carb eaters for vitamin C, goes way down. So I haven't had scurvy in all these 16 years of carnivore. So we're not really thinking that aspect of it. I'm just talking about going down the rabbit holes with different supplements that you come across, and you can't help but say, wow, that's pretty compelling. What we could go into the iodine issue. You can go watch lots of videos on iodine experts. And I highly recommend that you all start digging in yourselves, because you shouldn't, well, yeah, I was going to say, you shouldn't just keep taking in all of the supplement info out there and go crazy, just say, okay, okay, okay. And then next thing you know, you've got literally a basket full of these things. And then you look down at some point and pull one out and go, why was I supposed to take this? What compelled me to purchase this and now get this? And how did I fall off doing it and why? And what did, all of these things go, just go crazy with it. So I think you should really kind of choose something and head in that direction. I almost jumped into the methylene blue thing because it's pretty compelling. It's out there and there's so much information on it. But you could then also watch, I think Paul Saladino did a contradictory info about methylene blue. And I don't know, there's, then I pull back and I start to think, why would I put this dye in? And yeah, it does something to the mitochondria. And Dr. Boz has a big video about it. And, that gets you all revved up and go, I got to get methylene blue. Which one should I get? And you know what I'm talking about, that the ball gets rolling and then you almost feel like you can't stop yourself because it's like FOMO. Like, what am I doing here? I'm not on this and this and this. So yeah, there's a lot. I think what I'm going to do is make a video of specific supplements that I have looked into and I feel have lots of validity to taking. And I'm going to try to do that for maybe next Sunday. We'll see. But yeah, it's really difficult. Like just like how I laid out and the reasons why it's so difficult and trying to figure out really. And then we could say, well, everybody's different. This person might need iodine. This person might not. And then you listen to this person and they say, everybody's iodine deficient. Nobody should not be taking it. And if I'm going to take it, is it the 2%? Is it the 5%? I can get 2 on Amazon, 5 I got to order. And then again, we could get, you can almost get anxiety over this stuff. So yeah, we will further that discussion because it's a biggie, because we want to optimize what we're doing and it's not an easy path. I'm going to keep going and see if I can pull up some more questions. Let's grab this one. Carnivore Joanne says, I'm 61 and just got diagnosed with age-related macular degeneration, AMD, the dry form. Can carnivore help dry as well as wet? I'm 30 days into the carnivore diet now. Yes, so dry form versus wet. The wet form, it's just referred to as wet because of capillaries, blood vessels in the retina can start bleeding and leaking fluid. You can get edema, which is swelling. And that's a whole different form than the dry form where you just have the drusen. And I have a pretty extensive video. I got to start writing notes for what I got to post. I have a pretty big videos about macular degeneration that I will link down here. But I am absolutely also going to add, in addition to what I spoke about in those, in addition to cleaning up the diet, is your light environment, and extremely important. And that red light therapy video that I will be putting out, that's got very specific information about macular degeneration, is about getting that morning red light into our eyes, red light units, because we don't always have the optimal time to be able to go out there when we need to at sunrise, or the optimal environment, or live in an area where it's a lot of rain and clouds and, think, I guess, London or Seattle or non-optimal, I really do believe there's something to the red light therapy. In addition to getting the optimal natural light into our eyes is the importance of blocking the artificial light. So the amber, I'm not talking about the clear computer blue blockers that you can kind of even get at the local drugstore, or your local eye place, optician, optometrist, optical place, that puts blue blocker on. The glasses are pretty much clear, but have a little percentage. I'm talking about when you're protecting your eyes, and I'm going to say from cataracts as well as the macular degeneration, it is putting these on a regular basis so that you are helping to eliminate this artificial light. So that I'll put the link to that company, because I don't trust the China-made Amazon $25 amber blue blockers. I just don't, because if I'm trusting this to be blocking the light, you're gonna try to get as best you can good quality. These things last. I mean, even if so, you can get them in non-prescription. You can get them. This happens to be my reader one, and you can also get them in a custom prescription. There's other companies that put out clip-ons that you can do over your prescription glasses. Lots of options. Just know that it's important, especially if you are an office worker and you are working under fluorescent lights in that office with a computer throwing that light at you all day. Really important. And I hate to seem like I come across as like this woo-woo, this is crazy. These glasses just don't seem like that's possible. You should have to put that on. But I'm telling you, what has changed aside from our diet in the past 100 years is our light environment and how we spend 93% of our time indoors now. And we need to spend more time outdoors, because you can do this totally free if you have the ability to spend enough time outdoors. And even I try now to work on my computer outside, because getting the full spectrum of the sun coming in with just a little additional extra blue light from the computer, at that point, it's negated by all the beneficial full spectrum. They even make these little shade boxes that go over your laptop to be able to work outside easier. There's even a computer that I'm going to look into that has none of this blue light toxic spectrum that's spiking and detrimental to us, and using that as an option too. So answering your question, going back here, can carnivore diet help for dry as well as wet? We're talking about a proper, nutritious, nutrient-dense diet that's going to help every organ system of our body. The skin, it'll resolve acne, eczema, psoriasis, right? And even vitiligo. And then we could go into the liver. People who have fatty liver disease, and they call it non-alcoholic fatty liver disease for people who don't even drink who have developed fatty liver. This can heal just on carnivore. IBS, Crohn's, celiac can heal. Diabetes can heal. Joint inflammatory rheumatoid arthritis can heal. People have reversed multiple sclerosis. People have reversed diabetes and anxiety, which is brain inflammation from poor food choices our whole life, right? So so that's why I throw this out as trying to get people to think. They don't have to ask the question, will this help my fill in the blank? Because we are here to be healthy and evolve, right? We are not meant to decay into a disease state. We are every function that, when we get a virus, we spike a fever so that we can kill off the virus. We get a cut, the skin heals, right? Our bodies are here to evolve, but we've made it very difficult because of our toxic environment. And when we'll call it everything, because our food environment, right? Of course, we center in on that because of, how we're here connected through this animal-based way of eating. But everything, we're so out of touch with nature and our circadian rhythm that we've messed up our sleep. Messing up your sleep messes up your body's ability to heal, right? And go onward to the fragrances and the household products and storing things in plastic instead of glass, and our NNEMF, non-native EMF, the Wi-Fi, the 5G, and then add to that all of the unnatural light. The only thing that belongs in our eyes and on our skin: sunlight, moonlight, firelight, candlelight, starlight, if you want to include that. And then the next one on the list that's not part of earth and nature, we're going to add incandescent lighting, because incandescent bulbs have a much fuller spectrum, much closer to natural sunlight, that we can include that if that's what you have lighting your environment, it's a thumbs up. But what I'm getting at is that doesn't matter what. Let me back up specifically to the wet versus the dry and all that. Some people who are at end stage of dry, or some people who are at end stage of wet, and there's a lot of dysregulation, disease, disruption of the retinal tissue, and it's scarred, there's a very good likelihood that there's no turning that around. We need to catch these things moderate to mild stages to have the best chance of our body spending the time that it needs to get all of our organ systems corrected and to heal. So I don't want to give anybody false hopes. You're not going to magically put these on and spend your mornings in the sun and like that, we're all good. Again, takes time, but from a major deep dive into this whole category of health, I am 100% convinced that red light therapy and the blue blockers and spending as much time outside, building up your solar callus, we're not talking about getting burned here, and we'll notice incremental improvements in every aspect of your health. So I hope that helps without being too complicated or maybe even discouraging for those of you, if anybody's at a very end stage of macular degeneration. But again, do what you can and hope for the best. So Deborah says she's doing 3-day sardines, thanks to me, Courtney, and Adrian. Yeah, we did a video, and you said, I never thought I would ever eat them. Me too. And I think I really got that point across in my sardine videos that I've done in the past. But I'm very insistent upon myself having a really open mind about everything. And I mean everything, because if you would have told me 10 years ago that I, as an eye doctor for over 30 years now, would utter the words out of my mouth, don't wear your sunglasses, I'd have thought you'd gone bonkers, totally crazy. No. But here I am uncovering so many different things for really valid scientific reasons. Now, of course, there's always conflicting information, contradictory information. I'm sure you could get any um, random ophthalmologist to give me a big slap in the face, like, what the hell are you doing? This is dangerous information. And, you know, again, from the deep dive that I've done and understanding how critically important it is for our brain, which is connected to the eyes, to get the message from the full spectrum of the sun. We put on these sunglasses. We're telling our brain it's nighttime. We're telling our skin there's no sun out there. All of these messages are contradictory for us to live optimally. And training, medical training, my training, an ophthalmologist training, optometry training, it's all about protect your eyes, block the UV, prevent cataracts. It doesn't prevent cataracts. Macular degeneration. You could go on and on with what it's supposedly helping with, and everything's been refuted in my research of finding out the real true reasons of why that's not natural to block a section of the sun. The solar spectrum works in beautiful harmony where the red light counterbalances the blue light, because the blue light that we talk about, which is such a weird term because we're not actually seeing blue light coming off of the TV or screen, a light bulb, the recessed lights, the fluorescent lights, but it's the blue wavelength end of the spectrum, okay? And it is dramatically spiked and skewed, and that's what is getting totally hit into your eyes, your brain, without the balancing that's done with the rest of the spectrum. And that's why. And then, so we could go into the reason why all of dermatology is pounding away about skin cancer, melanoma, basal cell, squamous cell, carcinomas, sun bad, slather on sunscreen, put on your sunglasses, wear a hat, stay indoors in midday, prime sun. That message is so wrong. And the sun does not cause skin cancer. Spending time in the sun actually decreases dramatically 7 different types of cancer. All of the studies that they're basing their dogma around is studies that isolate UVA and UVB and apply it in an unnatural lab setting on animals to incite cancer and come up with sun is bad, sun causes cancer. And they have totally taken this segment out of context. And it would be ignorant on our part to not recognize that, and to also recognize in the past, since I think there was the big push for sunscreen right about 1970, and our skin cancer rate has done nothing but go up, along with the purchasing of all these toxic sunscreens. So I know you here watching this, you are open-minded and you're already on to the fact that we're not spraying that chemical shitstorm onto our skin, right? We're not lathering up this waterproof sunscreen that a week later after an application, it can be detected in your blood by a blood draw 7 days after you have applied a single application. So I'm just very verbal and passionate to talk about this because I'm so certain that I'm right. Um, but I guess that's pretty pompous to say, but you all wouldn't be here if you didn't really kind of trust in my opinion. So let's go with that. Yeah, I'm hoping that there's and this obviously I get a lot of my information from some amazing um, content providers that have their entire lives dove into this quantum biology and the reason that every living thing, plants, trees, animals, us, thrive and absolutely need the sun. And we're the only ones, not the plants, not the animals out there. We're the only ones that have been brainwashed and gotten it into our heads that, ooh, sun dangerous. Ooh, need to put SPF on my face every day so I can avoid wrinkles. That's not, that's not it's not the right thing to do. We're, put chemicals on, let it absorb into your bloodstream, first of all, and also getting the benefit of the sun on all of our skin is ideal. And yeah, I guess I went long enough into that whole sun thing. So, um, thank you so much. Um, have I heard of augmented NAC to detox the jab? I absolutely have. And I'm going to put a note because I believe I have a very important video that you all can watch regarding that. So, and then here's the issue. How do you get augmented NAC? Can you get augmented NAC? How available is it? All of those questions, right? But yes, I think there is absolutely something extremely important about the ability of augmented NAC to help. So I am going to dig in and find that video. I actually know where I have it. So for sure it's going to be in the notes. Um, yeah, and I feel sick inside for the people who didn't want to get it and for their livelihood, their job to absolutely needed to get it. I think it's so important to understand that there are different methodologies that are becoming, and here's the problem. They get censored, right? And I don't fully understand the evil behind all of this, and I don't want to get into that anything um, down that path with you all because I have my own strong beliefs and opinions, and it really doesn't belong on this channel because this will totally get shadow banned and taken off as soon as we start mentioning any of those words. And so there you have it. Why, right? But yeah, I know so many who have had negative issues, and I am diligently helping to get the word out about a protocol. And so I'm going to help out. I'm going to put the protocol in my member group because that doesn't get censored. And I'm going to try to figure out a way to help as many as I can with at least the information I have. I mean, it's accessible to everyone. It just depends on how many hours you spend trying to dive deep past misinformation. So, all right. Kathy says, want to try sardines, but can't get past the smell. Just think, so if you're somebody who hates tuna and tuna salad and has hated tuna salad your whole life, I don't really have much hope or help for you, because I'm somebody who, yeah, tuna was fine. And I would eat tuna salad every so often. And I would love to mix tuna salad with hard boiled eggs in there and chunk chicken to, I don't want to say mild out the tuna, but because, yeah, I liked that sort of combo, but I'm an okay with tuna fish person. And I just kind of got past the sardine thing because it doesn't really taste or smell much different than tuna in all reality. Um, and I'll put my sardine um, video link in there. And because I talk about the different types of sardines, I would say at first I think it's called New Seasons brand. Get the boneless, skinless in water and douse it, chop it up with some mustard or hot sauce, depending on what your favorite is, or melt a tablespoon or two of butter and almost like sizzle and brown the butter, and then dump the tuna in, break it up, and kind of get it mixed into that browned butter, and then add some fresh squeezed lemon. And then just think to yourself as you're eating it, it's just like tuna fish. And now it doesn't, and that brand doesn't like look like fish. When you open the can, you're not seeing these like fish laying in there, which tends to be the thing that turns people off. Yeah, and I call them the magical fishies. There's something so strange that it can drop your glucose, raise your ketones, incredibly actually satiate a hunger pang, and the benefits of the types of omega-3s in there are really good. PSA says, I told that to my husband and he said, I'm an idiot and the people I listen to on YouTube are idiots. Yeah. So many of us commonly have that, we'll just call it the partner issue, whether it is just grasping this whole concept of animal-based eating. And I call it animal-based eating because I want you all to feel you're all in here with us. I also eat things off of carnivore at times: avocado, olive, sauerkraut, and there might be others and more to come, because this is an ever evolving journey. And so this animal-based thing, though, many people cannot wrap their heads around. And add to that, when you start turning off the lights at night and wearing these robo orange glasses, and it's tough when you don't have the ability to verbalize exactly why at the moment, but you've already listened to 4 or 5 different podcasts and videos, and you're certain that this is what we all need to do for our health, but said other person has no interest whatsoever to dig down any rabbit holes. Perfectly fine, blaring the TV at night, flipping on all the lights in the evening, and it creates a problem, a big problem. I will say that we hope that others respect our opinion and that we are there to, let's say, we want to enhance each other's lives, and doing so involves being open to the learning that we each go through. And yeah, it's such a tough one. It's so tough because aside from feeling attacked when they come at you with what could you possibly have heard on YouTube that makes you think all of the dermatologists in the world are incorrect, and you gotta protect yourself from the skin, or what makes you think you're going to listen to one little Dr. Lisa tell you to not put your sunglasses on and negate the advice of all the optometrists and ophthalmologists in the world. And then you're like, well, so again, I mean, I know we don't have to get into this because the solution is there's no easy solution. And it might be a series of sit downs of, look, I don't want to be diverging off in this separate path and putting a divide between us. I really feel like this is something we need to want to try to embrace and learn together, because I feel it is that important to me and my health. And I'm concerned and would love for you and your health to come along. Some of these kind of tough talks have to happen. Um, Hello, Adrian. Okay, so Laura says she buys the sardines in water, not oil, brown salted butter, then add the drained sardines, and you can cook them till they're crispy. You can even put them in the air fryer. Some people do to make them crispy. I was never a big fan of that. I love I call it the seafood bisque soup, but it's basically sardine bisque, and it tastes so good. And I even my girlfriend's husband, who absolutely is adamantly won't touch the sardines that she enjoys ever, and they came to my home and she said, you got to make that sardine bisque and not tell him. And so we did, and he loved it and he went back for seconds. So I'll just put that out there. But that other salad I was telling you to make with tuna, and I do soft boiled eggs so that the yolk actually is like a binder, and mustard and a little pickle juice and a can of sardines and a can of chicken. And now we're getting the benefit of all of these nutrients, and it just tastes like a delicious, I guess we could call it fish salad, but it's got egg and chicken. And sometimes I'll do canned salmon and the sardine, and not put the tuna in, because at that point, what do we need the tuna for? Let's see. Yeah, so it wasn't sunscreen in the 60s. It was to get more of a tan using suntan oil. But see, so sunscreen was later, after that, started telling us the ozone layer was going away and it made the sun dangerous, which that was all a marketing campaign for a lot of big companies. And so yeah, where are the days where we used to put the reflector up and do suntan oil? They went away right as soon as big money moved in. So, here we go. So Papa Carnivore says, have you ever sat your husband down and told him that you like his support for your new way of eating and that you're supportive of what he does as well? Yeah, so that kind of conversation is basically saying, you do you, I'll do me. Let's just please agree to disagree and move on. That is absolutely a potential way. I've had somebody in one of my member groups who has had so many positive benefits from carnivore, who then really, really wanted her husband to come on board. And he had been so averse to it. And finally, she basically gave him this ultimatum, sort of, but not really, but yes. All I'm asking is you do 30 days. That's all I'm asking. And then I will zip it up forevermore. But you need to give me the 30 days. And he did. And he never went back. He started noticing change, even though he wasn't one who had a lot of weight to lose. He lost a bit. He noticed incredible improvements in joint issues, in sleep issues, and he never went back. So there are some feel-good, happy endings to those stories, but sometimes not. And Thank you again for your support. PSA, homemade sunscreen with non-nano zinc oxide. Okay. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to give a blanket yes, because you're going to be, of course, using a beef tallow uh, base or coconut oil or combination, plus putting in the non-nano zinc oxides. Okay. And I will pull in and say it with this caveat. In general, as much as you can and as best as you can, homemade or not, of course, homemade, you don't want to be blocking a portion of the sun. You want the full spectrum, but we don't want to get burned. So this is where I will end this live in my true feelings and how I believe sunscreen could and should be used. Absolutely think about the fact that, yes, we don't want to go out there and turn into a lobster and burn. Clearly, no. How do we not have that happen and also spend a lot of time outside? It involves building up what's called the solar callus. For sure, start off with that early morning sunrise sun, 1 to 2 hours if you can, to start building this solar callus. And then maybe it's only a matter of 10 to 15 minutes in midday sun if you're pale and don't have much experience with the sun. So it's going to be a short time that you should be able to increase. Also, try to get some sunset time, building up time in the sun. If you're out and it's 10, 15 minutes, and your brain just starts to say, you know what? I think I've had enough. Seek the shade, umbrella, trees, visor, indoors. Okay. And just keep perpetually building up. You will be able to spend more and more time and you will tan. It's incredible. When would homemade sunscreen be something that I would use? If I am out on a fishing boat and there's no way of me getting into a cabin shaded area and I'm literally out with the reflection of the sun off the water, which is more intense, you can bet your bippy I will have sunglasses on to protect a solar burn on the cornea. If you're out there for hours, 3-4 hours, you're not going to be silly and not protect your eyes or your skin. So there's a good instance. And this will apply for both sunglasses and sunscreen. If you're on the beach for hours, you don't have an umbrella, you don't have the ability to get under shade because everybody's there partying, you still want to be out there. Okay, some sunglasses because the reflection off of sand can be very intense and for both the eyes and the skin. So there might be situation number 2. Number 3, high altitude mountain hiking, climbing. Another situation, same thing. Sunglasses, natural sunscreen. And snow. If you're out skiing, out snowshoeing, out whatever you're doing, reflection off of that snow can be very intense. Also, if you're a pilot, sunglasses, because of glare, you're not benefiting from the spectrum of the sun at that point because windshields, so I'll include driving, if you're bothered by glare, the windshield is blocking a majority of the solar spectrum anyway. Go ahead and wear your sunglasses. I happen to have a very large sunroof that I open up whenever I can when I drive, and I lower my side windows a bit too. And I've got natural spectrum in my car, and I keep my sunglasses off even in my car. But for the most part, if I can open that all up, I will do that. So there you have it. ultimately, we don't want to be putting this sunscreen. We want the full spectrum to be doing its benefit of the vitamin D. It takes cholesterol and converts it into vitamin D. It improves your nitric oxide levels. There's so many benefits to the full spectrum sun on the skin. You don't want to, let's say broadly, just every time you're going to be going outside for a while, like, ooh, got to put the sunscreen on. Build your solar callus so that you're able to spend more time. And if you're able to pull yourself into the shade, there's no need for any sunscreen at all. So, all right. I hope that helps and just gives you at least my viewpoint and my stance on all this. And I hope that if you found any of this useful, go ahead and forward it to others, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks for joining.